For every force for good, there needs to be an equal and opposite force for evil. It's the foundation of every great superhero story. Every hero needs a powerful and memorable villain. He needs to be compelling, threatening. He needs to appeal to our dark side, so that we're not only rooting for the hero, we're secretly rooting for the enemy to put the hero in peril. Thundercats wouldn't be as intriguing without Mumra. He-Man wouldn't be as powerful without Skeletor. And the Turtles wouldn't be as radical without the mighty Shredder. And after all, in the cartoon, the Shredder is the one that mutated these 4 normal turtles into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And, he didn't only pester the turtles in the cartoon, he also pestered them in our toy boxes. Hi, I'm Gary from Raz Rentals. In this video, I'm going to review the original 1988 Shredder and Foot Soldier. I'll talk about some of the figure variants for the Foot Soldier and the differences between the hardhead and softhead Shredder figures. First, here's a brief history of the Foot Clan and the Shredder. The Foot Clan and the Shredder first appeared in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1, Number 1 in 1984. I got this at Fat Jack's Comic Crypt for only $2 because it has this 1-inch long rip right here. This is a third printing, but for $2, you can't go wrong with that. That was probably like 10 years ago. So anyways, originally they were humans, and in order to make the show more kid-friendly, they decided to change the Foot Soldiers into robots so that the turtles could slice and dice them without upsetting parents. Because, after all, robot murder is good, human murder not so good. Since then, they've been a mix of robots and humans, most notably in the 1990 movie. That's where most of us would first see the Turtles slaughter an army of 15-year-old high school dropouts. In 2003, they started out as humans, and then, there were some robots mixed in. In the 2012 cartoon, again, they started out as humans, and then eventually they started using robots to fight the Turtles. Back and forth, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter. The important thing is the Turtles just need a faceless army to fight before they can get to the Shredder. Oh, come on. Donnie! The Shredder comes in many forms, but he's usually Oroku Saki. Saki is the bitter rival of Hamato Yoshi. In most of the Ninja Turtle origins, the two of them are fighting over the hand of the woman Tang Shen. Usually, but not always. In the cartoon and toy line, Tang Shen doesn't exist, and Saki mutates Yoshi into Splinter. In the original comic book, Oroku Saki is the brother of Oroku Nagi. Nagi is the one that Hamato Yoshi has the rivalry with. When Yoshi kills Nagi in order to protect Tang Shen, Oroku Saki becomes the Shredder and kills Tang Shen and Hamato Yoshi in an act of revenge. Splinter is Yoshi's pet. After he escapes and is accidentally mutated with the Turtles by the Ooze, Splinter trains the Turtles to carry out his revenge on Oroku Saki, which they do, killing him in the very first issue he first appears. Revenge is a pendulum, swinging back and forth, cutting off a little piece of each side until nothing is left. The Shredder returns as a clone in Leonardo number 1, and in this issue, him and the Foot Clan beat Leonardo within an inch of his life. And then it's continued into this issue, Ninja Turtles number 10. And this in the Leonardo issue were pretty much adapted in the 1990 movie, where instead Raph gets beaten up to a pulp, and then the Turtles lose the fight in April's old time shop, so they escape New York and head to Northampton, where they spend some time to recover. That's where the Turtles are whenever Playmates is working on these awesome Ninja Turtle toys. It's been 4 years since Ninja Turtles 1 came out, only around 18 issues have been published, and in that time only 2 battles with the Shredder. But they knew that the Shredder had a really cool, unique design, so, they decided to make him the main villain of the Ninja Turtle cartoon and the Ninja Turtle toy line. In the 1988 animated series, the Shredder and Krang are both the main antagonists of the Ninja Turtles. They're kind of like partners, but in my opinion, it seems like the Shredder is kind of more in charge, even though he doesn't have all the technology and power that Krang has. In my opinion, it kind of seems like he takes advantage of Krang and kind of uses him to get what he wants accomplished. The Shredder is the ultimate enemy. He's a better ninja master than the Ninja Turtles. He's ruthless and diabolical. He's a sinister madman who's hell-bent on taking over the world, and at first it seems like he could do it. But after the first season, he pretty much loses all of his edge and becomes a comical, whiny fool who can be bested by the use of slapstick. You know, I do like him. I think James Avery does a really good job of doing his voice. But, you know, after a while, the Ninja Turtle cartoon gets very repetitive. And, you know, he's like in every single episode, heavily. It's not like Thundercats where Mumra is used a little sparingly. You know, he's not in every episode. And sometimes when he is in a lot of episodes, he'll only be on the bookend. He'll only be there to kind of like set up a new threat in the beginning, or, you know, just have a little bit at the end. The Shredder is like always present no matter what. And it just kind of gets a little boring in my opinion. Okay, so now that we're all past that, let's talk about the original Foot Soldier figure. The Foot Soldier only came with hard heads. There is no soft head of this figure. I don't know why, but it's how it is. The Foot Soldiers were designed by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Now, I'm not sure if they gave them like a brand new design to make these, or if you know, they provided their own sketches for the Foot Soldiers and Playmates kind of changed him to look more like this. So if you look at issue 10 of the Ninja Turtles, you know, right when this came out right when they were going to start beginning to design these toys, you can see that the Foot Soldier toy is a little similar to the, you know, design they came up with for the action figure. You can see that they have these little guards or armor on their arms. They have, their boots are wrapped up as well as their feet. Even like how, you know, it's kind of poofy here around above the boot joint, or the, you know, the boot. They kind of have like the eye coverings, the kind of buggy looking eyes. They even have like these shoulders, although here it looks more like a, you know, like a hood, or like I don't know how you would describe this, but, you know, they kind of have those like pointed shoulder pads. They have the kind of wrapped belts. The only thing is that these suits are more like, you know, one huge suit, one huge piece, where the Foot Soldier from the Playmates toy line, he's kind of got like pants, he's got like a shirt, and the top piece. And like I said, if you've never read Ninja Turtles, the Leonardo Micro Series #1 and Ninja Turtles number 10 and 11, you need to check those out. Those are great. Let's see if I can get that guy. Sort of similar, but, you know, the only thing is they all look like humans, and he kind of looks like a gorilla, the way he's his stance. You know, if it wasn't for the bandana on the top of his head, these movie Foot Soldiers would be almost completely comic book accurate. One of the biggest differences with these Playmates Foot Soldier figures is that, you know, you have this armor on his wrists here, and, you know, in the cartoon and everything else, it looks just like a metal piece of armor, like so. But this toy, he's actually supposed to have turtle shell armor. I don't know where he's getting blue turtle shells, or where he's killing all these weird shaped turtles. And I had no idea about this when I was a kid, because I never had the Foot Soldiers, but on the back of it, it does say that this is turtle shell armor. So it's pretty brutal, man. Just like Bebop. If the Foot Soldiers were actually standing straight up, they'd probably be like, you know, 3 inches taller than these Ninja Turtles. But as they were sculpted, they're kind of crouched down. I kind of get like a simian vibe from these guys. You know, to me, they kind of look like walking gorillas. I don't know if that was the intention. I don't know if they were trying to give them like an animal feel, kind of like the Ninja Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady. Or, you know, if they were... I'd like to know, or if just because that they're robots, they decided to try to make them look a little like, you know, mummy-ish, or, you know, not human. I have 6 of these guys, and for the most part, they're all pretty similar. All of them, pretty much all of them say on the back, let's see if I can try to get it. You know, 1988, Mirage Studios, Playmates Toys. But I have 3 of them that stand out from the others. And I don't know which one came out first, so if you know, please tell me. I would love to know. The first one I have is this one that's made in Mako, you know. or Mako, or some kind of place around China, from what I understand. And I kind of lean on towards thinking that maybe this is the first one that came out, because all of my Softhead Ninja Turtle figures are also made in Mako or Mako. And like them, you can't really pick it up on camera too much, but his face, I don't know if they used like a cheap plastic there or what, but all my soft-headed Ninja Turtles from that area have spots all over their arms. And, you know, this foot soldier here, he's got spots in his head. He's got spots in his arms. So I kind of lean towards thinking that he is the first one. You know, the plastic's starting to degrade. You know, maybe they didn't have things completely figured out and weren't making them in the best quality at first. This second foot soldier stands out to me because it looks like the plastic that his head is made out of is different than all the other foot soldiers. Now, if you look at the majority of them, they're very shiny. But I thought maybe he could have been first, because I thought, well, maybe his head might feel a little soft, but I think I was just making that up. But the color on him is a lot darker. Like these guys are a little bit more raspberry purple, where he's kind of deep purple. And, you know, the paint on him is a little cleaner, and, you know, there's no shine to his head where the other guys have it. He doesn't have any spots or anything like that, and he doesn't have a tag on the back of him that says where he's made. Just, you know, 1988 Mirage Studios, Playmates toys, whatever. But he's the second one that stands out because, like I said, dark colors, no shine. I kind of like him the best. One of the big differences, too, for this darker foot soldier is that his arms stand out a little more. Like, at first I didn't know that these arms are kind of like ball jointed and that they could rotate out. I thought you could just rotate up and down like that. But if you look at him, his arms stick out a little further, and I could see that you could rotate him like this. And all the other foot soldiers, the arms are very close to the chest, and you don't have this gap, so it's a little more difficult to move his arms in this manner. The third standout is this one, and he looks very similar to the other ones. This is the Mako one on the left, and he is the other one. There are certain aspects about him that are a little thinner than this guy, and the biggest difference is that he has an A stamped on his butt. None of my other foot soldiers have that. So like I said, if you know if any of those came first, please let me know in the comments below. Now, the foot soldier's articulation is a little bit the same as the turtles, but it's flipped, because the Ninja Turtles have ball joints in their pelvis so that you can rotate their legs all around, and their arms just have a simple swivel in the shoulders so that you can only move their arms, you can only rotate them one direction. The foot soldier, he's got ball joints in his shoulders so you can rotate the arms out, but his legs here only have a swivel cut. The foot soldier also has a cut in his forearm, but you can only twist his arm around so far until that giant armor piece blocks it from moving any further. And his head does have a swivel, but you can only swivel it so far before his giant shoulders stop it from moving any further. The foot soldier comes with 4 accessories. First, we have the turtle carver knife. This is exactly the same as Rocksteady's. Even the color is very similar to his. Not much difference. The way that you can tell the difference between the two of them is just where the little, like, connecting pieces are. Next up, we have the turtle shell biter. And I really like this weapon because, when you're not using this, you can actually put it on the foot soldier's shoulders and have him carry it around as he's attacking with the other weapons, or just, guarding the Technodrome. This is a cool weapon too because it looks like it has 2 purposes. The one end looks like he could hit the turtle in the head with it, and the other end, he can bite their weapons or bite them. Next up, we have the Electroshock Mace. This thing is pretty cool. I like the all the little detail here in the handle. You know, lots of toy lines would just make this a simple like stick that he would hold, but they put a little extra detail in there. And I do like the way that the mace looks. The only problem is that the wire is a little flimsy. I have another one of these, and you know, because it's so flimsy, it's starting to get strained and whatnot and turn white. And last, he comes with a gray weapons rack. Now, I never knew this existed. I always thought he just came with those weapons. So I didn't find out until I was doing some research for whenever I got a ton of Ninja Turtle toys earlier in the year. I realized he came with his own gray weapons rack. Pretty sweet. As you can see, they changed the design a little bit for the TV show. They took out the blue and gray and simplified the colors. I think they, you know, because they streamlined it a little bit, I think he looks a little better in the cartoon. He's a little sleeker looking, and I don't know. He looks pretty cool. The only weird thing about the cartoon is why did they give him human hands? He's supposed to be a robot. How does that make any sense? I don't get it. I really like the sculpt they did for this guy. I like all the little, you know, folds and wrinkles in his outfit. It looks like he's wearing cloth. I think he looks really good. You know, he really stands out on yourself among all the other mutants. Standing this guy can be a little tricky sometimes. If you have his hands forward, he's always going to fall. His feet have a really crappy space between them when you're trying to balance him. The best way to get him to stand is pretty much to put his hands down and balance him on his knees. Then you should be pretty good to go. This is pretty much the only way you'll be able to stand him. So now we go from the very cool foot soldiers to the evil Shredder. So in the Mirage comics at the time, Shredder looks like... Where's he at? There he is. Look how awesome and imposing he looks. He looks like he's going to mess the turtles up. I always like this this cool pull-out page. You know, that was fantastic. You know, I really like how Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird draw like all their characters with these like white pupilless eyes. Even the turtles, Casey Jones, the Shredder. You know, it especially makes the Shredder look, you know, scary and imposing. So he had a really cool design in the comic books. So how did they translate him into the toy line? What happened? Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nelly here. I have never liked this action figure too much. Like, never. I loved the cartoon design. I thought he looked imposing. I thought he looked, you know, strong and buff, and you know, I liked the silver. But then the action figure was like this, and he's all purple and blue, and I just never got it. And you know, there's just a lot of decisions they made for this toy that I don't like, such as painting the eyebrows on the front of the helmet. You know, like, what's up with that? Why'd they do it that way? That's weird. I don't get it. You know, I never liked the mask here. It doesn't look like strong. It looked like his face, first of all, his face looks very wrinkled. You know, it doesn't look scary. It just looks like he has a bunch of wrinkles, like he's an old man. And then his face mask here is like, you know, sucked in for some reason. So it looks like almost like he's got like a respirator or something. He's like, not only that, but like his arms and stuff like that. He's very scrawny. He's a little sticky, so he's got some hair on him. Like, his arms are scrawny, they're small. And, you know, even his body here, like, look how bony and wrinkly his whole body is. Like, when I was a kid, I always thought he looked like an old man. Like, he doesn't look strong. He doesn't look like, you know, you could have somebody who's thin and fit somebody like, maybe Bruce Lee or something like that, and it looks right, but he doesn't look right. It looks like there's something off about him. And I always thought that like this little purple piece here, it doesn't look like, it's not like a Superman kind of underwear. It's kind of puffy, so to me it just kind of looks like a purple diaper. So, what I don't know what to say. So I assume that these toy designs were created first, and then Fred Wolf adapted them into the cartoon. And I think every decision they made was for the better. You still have the cool spikes, and like that is the one pro about this Shredder toy, is that I do like the spikes. They were always cool just to have your guy covered with spikes that he could stab the turtles with. But I like that they actually gave him a shirt. Like, why is he shirtless? I don't know. But the way they did the face and the helmet looks a whole lot nicer. And this kind of like created like a weird situation where it's like, I think Super 7 is going to do a really awesome job with their Shredder figure. But it's like, I don't like that Shredder design. So it's like, I almost kind of want to mix this guy with the Super 7 toys, because I don't like, even though I think they're doing a great job, I don't like the original design of the Shredder toy. So you want to kind of cross platforms a little bit. It's almost like if they could like create the Shredder toy that they have, but just kind of, tweak it a little bit and make it look more like the cartoon one, that'd be perfect. Like maybe down the line, maybe for a convention exclusive, something. Give us something in the Super 7 Ultimates line that's more in line with the cartoon Shredder. That'd be awesome. Okay, so the Shredder first came out with the soft head, and then later on they released him with a hard head. And, the big difference is that the soft head is soft, of course. You could squish it. And the softer head is bigger than the hard head, but you can see the detail a little better. It's a little sharper in the hard head version. The body might appear a little thicker on the hard head version, or the soft head version, but if it is, it's very minuscule. Like, you hardly notice any difference. Even the soft head to the hard head, like, you don't really, mass wise, it's not much different. I guess one of the you have pros and cons. You don't have the sharpness with this head, but you also don't have the seam through the middle of it like this one has. Colors are very similar too. The Shredder has the same kind of articulation that the Ninja Turtles have. He's got ball joints in his pelvis, so you can, rotate the leg all over the place, except it's a little hindered by this, where the plastic is, so you won't be able to bend it this direction very much at all. He has rotation in the shoulders. He has a cut in his forearm, and his head can rotate all the way around, although it gets a little stuck. It's a little stiff. He comes with a nice cloth cape. I do like this cape. I think it's pretty cool. And, if you don't want to just have it on Shredder, you can also put it on some other cool toys. Even though I don't remember Skeletor wearing a cape in the Masters of the Universe cartoon, I just think it kind of looks cool using this Shredder cape on Skeletor. Oh. Shredder mostly comes with the exact same kind of weapons that the Ninja Turtles comes with. This is an actual Shredder weapons rack, just, not pulled apart. He comes with 2 Ninja Stars. He's got the 2 fist daggers. He has a comma. Of course, you got the weapons rack itself. And on the side here, you should have attached, and I'm not sure if I actually have a Shredder sword or not. I can't tell if these are Leonardo swords. I once had a sword that seemed too wide. It was too wide and I couldn't fit it into Leo's sword sheaths on the back of them. So I don't know if maybe his is a little wider or if they're all just the same. If he has the same katana that Leonardo has. Later on in the Playmates series, they did release Shredder in a more, I guess it's a little closer to the cartoon. It's still very different, but the colors are, I don't know. I guess in the cartoon he doesn't have all that pink on him. Plus, you have all the action figure or all the action feature problems that this figure has, where his articulation is a little limited, and you have these little holes and stuff in him. So even though they got one that's a little closer to the cartoon because of the mask, I still got to go with the original one. In the old Playmates line, we also got this awesome Super Shredder. Now, I didn't really notice it at first, but if you look at the body of the wacky Shredder, pretty much everything is exactly the same. Like, he's got the same chest and pelvis, he's got the same legs. His hands look very similar, so he might have the same hands, but, you know, I think the upper arms are different because he has these extra holes in here for this wacky action feature. And, you know, of course, like the head is different. But, you know, the only thing is with the Super Shredder is I don't count him as a regular Shredder figure. He's a Super Shredder. You know, so even though he's awesome, it's not the same as having like a really good regular Shredder action figure. But Super Shredder was cool. I'm sure a lot of people, once they got Super Shredder, they were like, this is my Shredder now. I think the first time we ever got a really great Shredder figure was for the 2003 series. I remember seeing this, you know, in Walmart and just being like, wow, now that's a cool Shredder. Like, that's the Shredder I always wish I had when I was a kid, you know. And, you know, in that line too, we got some cool extra things, such as the two of the clone Shredders from the cartoon, but you can also see them in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 21, which is Return to New York Part 3. And I highly recommend that comic. It's amazing. But let's face it, the best Shredder that has come out so far is this one from NECA. You know, what, this came out 2 years ago, I think, 2018 or 2017, somewhere around there. So, you know, it took like 20 years, but we finally got an amazing Shredder. One that I could proudly display on my shelf. And like I said, I'm not excited for the Super 7 Ultimates Shredder, even though in general, I love that line and I can't wait to get more and more action figures from it. Now here I have the soft head Shredder on the left and the hard head Shredder on the right. And, you know, in my opinion, the Shredder is one pain in the neck to stand. I hate making this guy stand. I hate his stance. You know, he's like all crouched weird. And the only way to really get him to balance is you have to stick out this one hand. You have to put it forward to try to keep him from falling over. So, you know, he always has this one hand that's sticking out right. Like always like, oh, I'll get you, turtles kind of thing going on. But that kind of stinks because you can't have him hold multiple weapons or anything like that. And I also, you know, I hate to be such a downer, but, you know, I can't stand that, like, he only holds his sword with 2 fingers. So, you know, it's tricky sometimes to make it look right while he's holding it. I'm not sure which one of these I prefer because the hardhead Shredder, I guess does a little better because you can actually see the detail in his face a little easier. But the soft head Shredder, his head looks a little longer and it kind of makes his body look a little bit better proportionately. Like he actually looks a little fuller and correct. And the hardhead Shredder might look a little squished. I don't know, it's really a tough call. So, maybe soft head Shredder in my opinion. I also have to mention that in 1993, Playmates released a Toon Shredder during their Toon wave of figures where they kind of reimagined the Turtles and the Shredder closer to their cartoon look. And I got this picture from the TMNT Vintage Figure Archive. I'm going to put the link down below. It's a great website. You can find information on all the Ninja Turtle toys from way back when up until now. It was perfect for me whenever I was trying to figure out which accessories and weapons go to which loose figures I had. So, you know, check it out. But anyways, you know, I think this was a step in the right direction. I like that they gave him the silver helmet and they actually painted his chest to make it look like he had a shirt on. I like that they painted the eyebrows kind of below the helmet a little bit and didn't just paint it like an extra area of flesh on top of the helmet. I think this was a pretty good start, but in my opinion, I think they really needed to start from the ground up. This figure still has the problems that the original 1988 Shredder has. Still has that huge head. He still has that like bony, scrawny old man body. Even though it's probably hidden a little better now that it looks like he has a shirt on, and he's just still got that weird stance. But regardless, I do have to find myself one of these guys. In my opinion, the Shredder was quickly surpassed in the toy line by all the cool, crazy mutants that showed up. But the Shredder has to get some respect because, you got to have a Shredder with your Ninja Turtle toys, and he's the only Shredder you got that's supposed to be the, regular Shredder. And he's kind of like the only main connection with the Mirage comic books, because if you consider, like, you look at Krang, like, the Krang is completely different than the Utroms that he's based off of in the Mirage comic books. And other than that, there are not very many repeating enemies in the Ninja Turtle comic books. Maybe Leatherhead, but he's completely different too. The Shredder is the only like enemy that is really consistent from, timeline or multiverse Ninja Turtle storyline. He's the only one that's pretty consistent from Mirage to IDW to the Fred Wolf cartoons to the 2003 cartoon to the movies. He's the main guy, and he's a force to be reckoned with. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Sorry if I was a downer, if you really liked this toy back in the day, but I had to be a little honest here. So let me know what you think, and next time I will talk about the final 2 action figures in the 1988 Ninja Turtles Series 1 toy line series or whatever. All that's left now is Splinter and April O'Neil. Talk to you later.